Action fanatics, welcome to another edition of the Bulletproof Podcast. I'm your host, Chris the Brain, and joining me, it is the Toy Man, Christy Petrillo.
And you know, Toyman is not as cool of a name as the star of our subject matter here tonight. But you know what? We're going to leave all the cool factor up to the great Steve James as we get this podcast rolling.
Yeah, I don't know how much cool factor this man has, but he's back with us once again. It's Ryan Campbell.
I have zero cool factor, Brain, but that Knights of the Seven Kingdoms this past week was fire.
It was, and well, yeah, as this one drops, the finale would have just hit bulletproofaction.com. And, you know, if it does even half as well as the penultimate episode, we'll be looking good.
Oh, Brain, Thronesverse was back Sunday night. It felt like the heyday. Twitter was lit up afterwards. People were breaking down the matchups. People were freaking out. It felt like old times. It was amazing. And we also this week got the trailer for Hot D Season 3, which will be in June. So we'll be covering that as well. It's all coming back, Brain.
Yeah, Ryan Campbell's TV shows are just destroying my schedule. It's less work for me, but it's like there's part of me that was like, well, I was really looking may as well.
Yeah, your theme weeks are kind of getting
I may as well just throw those right out, and we'll just worry about it when we need them. But yeah, and you mentioned Twitter, or AKA X. You know, while
the everything
here,
app.
The everything, yeah, it really is. And you can follow us over there because we're at Bulletproof Pod on X, we're at Bulletproof Pod on Blue Sky, and Bulletproof Action on Instagram and Facebook. Also want to mention about our letterbox. It's Bulletproof Pod over there. You can follow my personal letterbox at Chris the Brain. And you know, if you are one of those people who are smart enough to not have social media, but still want to tell us something, you can do so by emailing us at bulletproofaction@gmail.com.
How did email become like the outdated, like snail mail? Like, do you remember when email was popular and they called old mail snail mail? Now email is kind of like snail mail. Like it's like
right.
If you're a caveman, you can email us.
Yeah, you're sliding into DMs now.
People want that instant feedback nowadays.
Yeah, so that is also an option. As you know, we're here for whatever stage of the internet you're at. We're there. And speaking of the internet, I mean, some might say having a website is old time, but we have one, and it's bulletproofaction.com. And you guys had to be shocked, as everybody else was. Chad Cruz had a review.
What?
A revival. The man himself rising from the ashes.
He's back.
Was it over 400 words?
I believe it was. I can double check. Osiris. It was a movie I had never heard of, but of course Chad Cruz did, and it was about space monsters and Linda Hamilton. So it was right up his alley. It was not a surprise that he was the one to find such a film. But yeah, Chad Cruz back on the site. He's been off for a bit, but he's back, baby. Maybe we'll get him back here on the podcast as well before the first quarter of the year is up. Also, I just reviewed the latest from Well Go USA, Rescue at Dongji. What an epic film that was. Really enjoyed that one, so check that out. And Ryan already mentioned A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. At this point, the finale is up on the site. The penultimate episode blew up.
Let's go.
And then later this week, the season 2 premiere of Monarch.
That's right. Legacy of Monsters. If you didn't check out season 1, you've got a little bit of time to catch up on it. But it was surprisingly good, and I'm looking forward to getting back in the Monsterverse. It seems like we got a ton of stuff like all at once around Godzilla, between -1, the sequel to Godzilla Kong, and Monarch, all like the same summer. And it was like, and then it's been crickets ever since. So I'm excited to get back in there.
And also later this week, the Toy Man, he's been counting down the days. It's almost here now, Toy Man. Scream 7.
Yeah, 1 week from tonight as we record this, I plan on being in the theater, enjoying. I'm going to assume that I'm going to enjoy it because I enjoy all of the other Scream movies. It's going to take a lot for me to not enjoy it, but I am looking forward to sharing some mostly spoiler-free thoughts with everybody at Bulletproof Action to close out the month.
I'm hoping I like it. I not entirely cool with the way everything went down with the previous leads being kicked from the franchise. I won't go too much
I
into
agree
it,
with
but
that.
not crazy about it. But I mean, I'm going to go see it. It's not enough to me to like boycott it, but I liked what they were setting up, and now they're going to have to change course. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But it looks different. It looks nice.
I agree because Scream 6 is my, this might be controversial to some, but Scream 6 is my favorite film aside from the original. I thought that the New York setting, I thought that everything that they had done building up the two new characters, Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega, I thought they did a really good job with that over the course of uh, part 5 and then part 6. And I was actually surprised by how much I ended up liking part 6. So I was looking forward to the continuation of their trilogy. But you know what? They had to adapt. They had a book on the fly, as they say in the wrestling biz. So we'll see how this one goes, but I am looking forward to see what they do with all of these purported cameos and the rumors of AI being used by the killer or killers in this one. So could be an interesting spin on the story.
And if you're a fan of the Scream movies, you may be very interested in what I'm about to tell you because the horror sequel audiences and critics are raving about. 28 years later, The Bone Temple comes home. See why it is certified fresh and verified hot via Rotten Tomatoes because you can get it right now on digital. And for you, the loyal listeners of the Bulletproof podcast, you can win a digital copy. Check out bulletproofaction.com right now. Fill out the form. Submit your entry and you may win. I'm going to be polling the winners randomly on February 28th. Get it? 28, 20, everybody? Okay, but there you go.
We'll tie in there. I see what you did.
So yeah, our special 28 days later, the Bone Temple giveaway. You can find that over on bulletproofaction.com as well. But we have talked enough about business and housekeeping. Let's get into our movie this week. It is Street Hunter. This one was released on November 2nd, 1990, distributed by the 21st Century Film Corporation. And,
is that related to like 20th Century Fox? Is that like a subsidiary or are they just trying to?
It is not. I will tell you what it is. It is the company that Menachem Golan founded after he left Canon.
Ooh, interesting.
And apparently,
I'll go make my own cannon with blackjack and hookers.
Right, and he, we've talked about this before. It was basically like a divorce between him and Yoram Toyman, and it obviously Menachem got like Bronson and Steve James in the divorce, where Yoram kept Chuck Norris and Dudikoff.
And at that point, it was obvious that the sum of the whole was greater than the sum of the parts, because even by having some of those names, the output just felt lesser than what we got during the big Canon era of just a few years prior.
Yes.
What were the Bronson 21st Century films?
I believe just Death Wish 5.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we get the open. I like the music. It was like simple, but it was effective opening action movie music. And here we see him, Toyman. Well, we really don't see him right away, but we see the van. It's Logan Blade, and he's pulling up to a cemetery. Logan Blade, Steve James. That is one of the quality names that we've ever talked about on this program.
I mean, that could be a wrestling name. That could be a video game name. I mean, he could diversify with a cool name like that. But it's a very strange dichotomy that he's got such a modern, 90s sounding cool vibe name, but his whole aesthetic is very retro. It's very like old school detective meets gunslinger type of style. He's got a duster on, he's got a hat on, and then he's rocking like an A-teamish type of van. He is just kind of a jack of all superheroic trades in this film.
His look is what Ryan Campbell would wear if he was going to pretend to be a.
When I was playing Red Dead Redemption a bunch and got into my cowboy era. Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of those, where Ryan Campbell would be heavily influenced.
He's given a little Dark Tower Stephen King-ish too for like the 90s there.
Yeah. And now we're going to meet Angel, played by John Leguizamo, who I've
That's a
almost.
name you didn't think we'd bring up on the podcast.
No, I mean, and he's done some stuff. He was in Violent Night.
He's in John Wick.
Yep, he was in John Wick, Violent Night. So he's in with those guys. But yeah, he's there. He's Angel. He's with the Diablos, and they find a stash of drugs hidden under a tombstone. Apparently, they got some information that there was these drugs there, and these drugs.
You never go to the cemetery and just knock over tombstones in the hopes of finding drugs?
No, that's not good. That's bad mojo. I do not do such a thing. And these drugs,
the kids call it getting stoned. It's like the new
Ryan slipping in with the bad jokes. Usually that's my forte, but Ryan jumping on the grenade here tonight.
Don't worry, there's plenty more show left. You can get yours in too, Toyman. But yeah, these drugs belong to the mafia, and Toyman, it's not long before that mafia or representatives thereof show up as well.
Yeah, they show up, and obviously there's a bit of a rivalry going on between the Spanish gang and the mob, and a lot of verbiage, a lot of back and forth going on between Lewis and Angel until the great Red Brown pops out with his trademark scream. Yes. And starts mowing down the mafia competition.
Oh, yeah. Red Brown, the minute he appears on screen, is screaming. That's the Red Brown that, if he didn't, would you recognize him as Red Brown? I don't know, but he plays Colonel Walsh in this one. The mafia guys are all gunned down.
I did like how the mafia and these rival gangs are allowing the young guys to take lead. It seemed like you got John Leguizamo on one end and whoever representative of the mob on the other end. They're both the younger, so it seems like typically your mobsters are like older guys. So they're letting the young guys take a little reins. I like it. It's good. Get the younger generation involved.
You gotta get that new blood in there.
Yeah, you gotta build them up.
Angel is going to take care of Lewis himself personally. Obviously this is a turf war. The city is mine, and then he blows Lewis's brains out. Logan Blade then makes his presence felt, and he has a dog who we can put in the running for Dog of the Year. But he's like, hey, Angel, you just killed the Don's son. He's going to be pretty pissed at you. You'll probably be safer with me. And with help from his dog, Munch, they take care of who's left of Angel's men and then take Angel in. Angel gets locked up.
And that's the shortest movie we've ever reviewed. Good job, guys. Post it.
The good guys win.
What are we watching for next week, Brain?
Angel is locked up. He does say bastards. Thank you. And now we get a little bit of the backstory of Logan Blade, Toyman.
After he's already vanquished some of these bad guys, it was obvious going into this, Steve James is top billed. He came into this as a hero. People obviously best remember him for being a hero in the American Ninja films. So it wasn't like, oh, he's the leader of a third rival gang or anything like that. But we don't know if he's law enforcement, if he's a vigilante, like what his role in this is. And we find out that he's actually all of the above. He was a cop, but he got set up, and now he's taking matters into his own hands.
Yeah, it was set up. They acquitted him, but then he's like, you know what? The fact that you even question me, go to hell. I'm done with this.
Threw his badge at
like
him.
Sting in 1996.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Good. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a great reference there, Toyman.
Yeah, 30 years reference.
Man, I'm over here batting zeros on my jokes, and you're dropping really valid corollaries to wrestling. This is not going good for me, Brain.
I don't know. Did we have like a Judge Reinhold, Fred Savage, vice versa moment?
The Freaky Friday situation over here.
Judge Reinhold. All right. The homicide detectives, we meet them, Riley and Wellman. They're in the captain's office with Blade, and they're like, we saw all the carnage at the cemetery. Great job. It's like Blade's like, hey, you guys better watch out. There's this guy named Colonel Walsh. He's kind of going to cause some trouble. And the captain's like, oh, great. We're going to have a war between the mob and the Diablos. This is not what we need here. And we also find out that Wellman basically is not happy that Logan Blade walks the earth. He just does not care for him at all.
Yeah, they laid on thick with the Wellman and Riley dynamic about how they feel about Blade, and that'll come into effect later, Brain.
It surely will. Blade, before he leaves, stops by to see his old buddy Janelli, who is going to be in charge of transporting Angel from their precinct to the city jail.
Oh, he did.
And he's like, "Be careful, Angel's friends are."
You be careful! Don't you go dying and transporting this villain 10 minutes into the film.
These friends are bad mamma jammas. Toyman, have you ever used mamma jamma in your vocabulary, being the prime minister of urban culture that you
unironically has to be unironically.
Yes, unironically, yeah.
Not unironically, and not unless I was singing along to a song.
Thank you. And also, thank you for not singing right now. So Janelli, again, he's very confident he'll get Angel over, which is red flag all day long. And again, yes, as Ryan pointed out, we're just moments in, and boom, ambush, gunfight, smoke bombs. Janelli is killed, Angel is sprung, and just for shits and giggles, he grabs a bazooka and blows up a cop car.
I mean, you brought the rockets, and there's you got to use them.
Right. Now we're going to catch up with Logan, who is at the Days and Nights Jazz Club to watch his lady Denise, played by Valerie Pettiford, who Toyman may remember from Another World or One Life to Live or possibly Glitter.
I did not remember her at all, actually.
Mm-hmm. You did. You're just not going to admit it because
he's on a roll this week. He doesn't want to ruin it.
Yeah, and he's gaining a reputation. Anyway, there's a woman hitting on Logan at the bar, and then Days comes over and reminds Logan that Denise is pure gold, and basically he's fucking it all up. So then we get
his girl's right there, and he ain't exactly shutting down this person that's interested in him. It's kind of a weird.
Right. Yeah, it is strange.
Kind of string her alone there. Not really fair to her.
Brain, I had to go and look her up, and I'm looking up her television credits, and you would be interested to know that there is a show that you and I both are very fond of, and she has the pleasure of starring in both versions of it. She was in an episode of the original Equalizer, which you and I are big fans of.
Yeah.
And she had a recurring role in the Queen Latifah version of the Equalizer.
I think she was also in an episode of Silk Stockings.
She was. She played Marnie in the episode Silent Witness.
There you go. See? But we also see that there's like two fools outside messing with Logan's cool van. And like the one guy realized, like, no, we don't want to mess with this guy's van. I know who it is. The other guy's like, I don't care. Then we cut back in. Denise is done performing. Logan goes and knocks on her dressing room door, trying to make peace. And we find out Denise is just fed up. We find out Logan lives in this van with that dog. He's like kind of off the grid here.
He's like Vengeance on Wheels. He's going to be mobile to get into these situations.
The messed up part, though, is he plays it so cool. Like, there's not like a scene where in private, when no one else is around, we see that he's like mentally breaking down. He seems to be a pretty well-adjusted guy. He just likes his van and his dog.
Steve, I mean, I don't know that Steve James could play anything but cool. He's
now van life is like something that people aspire to. He was just ahead of the curve.
He was, but Denise doesn't feel that way. She feels he needs to change. And he has a college education. He has this experience as a police officer. He needs to start a new career and not be living out of his van and chasing down bad guys. So, speaking of that van, there's a security system and, of course, Munch to take care of these would-be thieves until Logan gets.
By the way, great name for a dog.
Yeah,
especially like a sidekick attack dog. Great name.
Mm-hmm. And Logan does get down there, and we have a little bit of, you could see he's trying to help the youth. He could have jammed them up, but he's like, he gave them an out and clean up your act, basically.
He's not like the Punisher, who would have just put bullets into them immediately.
Oh, right, exactly. Very good point. So now on the way back to Denise's place, because again, they're not going to both stay in his van. The captain calls with news that Angel escaped. 9 cops are dead, including Janelli. So sorry, Denise. I got to work at this job that you don't want me to work at, but I just lost a friend, so deal with it. Um, and so he goes back to the police station. He's like, I don't care about this reward for Angel that I would have collected because I brought this guy in who was wanted. It's personal now. And now we get a classic walking around the city and getting information montage, Ryan Campbell.
That's right. You don't spend as many hours on the street without having your informants. He's also kind of that cool guy that will like let some crime go enough to where you kind of keep these people, close enough to him where if he shows up, they won't run away. They'll give him information they know as long as they kind of mind their P's and Q's. He'll kind of let things slide under the table. So he's got that kind of street cred vibe when he goes out amongst the low level criminals.
Yeah, you got to let sometimes keep the small fish out there so you can catch the big fish. So yeah, he gets it. We then see Colonel Walsh, Toyman, addressing his troops. And I gotta say, this may be one of Red Brown's greatest roles.
Yeah, it's, we're so used to him being very boisterous, very loud. We heard the yell in the beginning, but now he's very reserved, very militant, and he's almost structuring the gang, kind of molding them into his own personal army, kind of using the tactics that like a general or a leader would use to get them to not just be these, petty thugs from the street. He's actually trying to mold them into a very formidable unit. And it's interesting to see him not only in a villain role, but kind of dialing it back a little bit here.
Yeah.
Well, he quite literally has a Napoleon complex.
Mm-hmm. You know who he reminded me of? And really, in more ways than one. But do you know Toyman?
I cannot venture a guess. I'm going to have to let you spoil it for me.
Serpentor.
I can see it. Okay.
Serpentor.
I had a feeling you were going to go the G.I. Joe route.
With
but yes,
Angel being like Cobra Commander. They have that kind of dynamic.
Very much so. Good call.
And yeah, because then he tells Angel, like, I can control this city with or without you. So you need to listen. I'm the military strategist here. You're just you're the face of the company, basically. But you got to listen to me or you're going to die or I'm just going to, maybe at my hands, basically, I'll just do this. We don't need you. Now we cut back to Logan. He's talking to a cabbie friend and he gives up Eddie as an eyewitness to the ambush that happened. So Logan obviously goes to see Eddie and we get possibly
Crazy Eddie.
Yeah, Crazy Eddie. And we get possibly another nominee here, Ryan Campbell.
Yeah, I mean, it's a threesome scene, but it's nowhere on par with what we got last year in Kickboxer.
I don't know if that's going to win, but it would.
Yeah, there's we see a little nip, but it's like after things are over and they're like running out of the room kind of thing. Like it's not nearly as there's still a lot of time left in a year, Brain, is what I'm saying.
Not nearly as gratuitous. And that, of course, was
I think the implication was that they were like just totally coked up and fucking around because Eddie did not stop laughing the whole time. It's like if you've got two naked women laying in bed with you, the last thing you want to be doing is cackling.
Right. Some of it's on Eddie. He's kind of getting in his own way there. He needs to chill out a little bit. Might have a better time.
Well, he gives them blow dryers to leave. I would assume
not a euphemism, folks.
No, he would have maybe wanted a blow dryer from them, but
I mean, without getting too graphic, if you have to walk out of the room and you need some electronic device to help your ladies' friends stay warmed up while you're gone.
Oh,
hair dryer is not the way to go. Just for you guys out there, everybody out there. Okay, you fill in the gaps.
Literally. All right, Eddie tells Logan that Angel is backed by the Colombians, and like, oh, okay, now this is going to be interesting. And Logan puts out feelers. He wants to get an audience with Don Mario, and that news, that Logan and Mario may be meeting, is leaked to Colonel Walsh by a dirty cop with a disguised voice. But certainly, Ryan Campbell, they, based on what we saw earlier, they want us to believe that is Wellman.
Right. They're the red herring that they're putting out there is clearly the guy who has an issue with him is going to be the dirty cop, not the guy covering for him.
Right.
But we'll see how that goes if you've seen enough movies.
We then find out Colonel Walsh is going to use the old Trojan horse plan. Let's see how that works out.
Seems like Eddie could have used a couple of Trojans in the previous scene.
Ooh, that's very, very true. Logan meets up with Don Mario, played by the one and only Frank Vincent, of course, from Goodfellas and Sopranos fame. Well, I mean, this guy, he was born to play a mobster toy man.
Yeah, I mean, people worry about getting typecast in certain roles, and obviously Frank Vincent was used in everything from A-list mob stuff down to the B-list, but what a great actor. It's like anytime you saw him on screen, you knew you were in for a treat. Like that guy, just one of my favorite, character actors of all time.
Also, Don Mario is a great name for, I'm sorry, let me try it again. Don Mario is a great name for a mobster in a movie. It's very good.
It is.
So Don Mario and Munch, A+s on the naming so far.
And Logan.
There was word that if Steve James made Street Hunter 2, he was going to come back as his brother, Don Luigi.
No, John Leguizamo is already Luigi.
Oh, good call.
Yeah.
All right, good call on that one. Okay.
Well, Logan offers to get vengeance for Mario, but it's an offer that Don Mario can refuse. He's like, no, I don't need your help. We're the fucking mob. We can take care of our own business. So now Logan is lured into a trap by Indio. And Indio is like, he's this guy, he's trying to get in with the Diablos because Diablos are starting to make some waves. People are noticing, like you said, Toyman, they're not just a bunch of guys running around like idiots. They're an army now. And so Indio is like, they use him to try to trap Logan, of course. Logan Blade's too freaking cool, and it doesn't work out well for Indio. So now Logan goes and meets up with the captain again, who has information on this Colonel Walsh character. And Logan has information about the Diablos and their Colombian connection. Not to be confused with Delta Force 2, the Colombian connection, which I'm sure Ryan Campbell is just waiting for us to review another Chuck Norris movie.
Oh, on pins and needles, Brian. I can't wait.
Well, we'll see how he goes because you know how he feels about movies that star Chuck Norris and have the number 2 in them.
As long as it takes less than 10 years, I think we're good.
It moves quite quickly, and he does a lot of interesting things, but we might get to that. But anyway, Wellman, of course, is like, oh, that son of a bitch, Logan. I want to follow him and see what he's up to. And Ryan's like, go home, take a bath, you stinking bastard. Just go home, get over it already. I'm sick of hearing about this problem you have, this hard-on you have for Logan Blade. Now we find out the Diablos have blown up Don Mario's car to further piss him off. So yeah, this war is going to happen. It's percolating, and it's going to go. And we got another Colonel Walsh speech, and while that's going on, it's scenes of crime bosses being taken out. You think they were going for the Godfather baptism there, Toy Man?
Yeah, I could see where you're going with that one. I don't think it has the same effect. I'm just laughing at your note here about how Colonel Walsh mentions that it's time for the new order. And you mentioned, For Life with an NWO reference. But when I saw your notes, I was immediately just thinking of Blue Monday in my head.
That's very good. Very good song. Denise is now getting ready for Logan to stop by Ryan Campbell. She's about to hop in the shower. She is fully clothed, or not. She's covered up. But she hears something, and Denise is not just some damsel in distress. We find out here.
No, she's got
Very
some
resourceful.
spunk. Yeah, she's got that spark in her, that little snappy. When you got the hair like that, Brain, you gotta be a little snappy like that.
So she avoids getting killed in the shower. She attempts to escape. It does not work out. But fortunately, Logan shows up to save the day. And then, here's some reinforcements. It's Detective Riley.
Oh, good. Whew. Well, he surely will help, straighten all this out.
I'm afraid to tell you, folks, spoiler alert, Detective Riley was the dirty cop.
What?
Brain, did you recognize Detective Riley from anything?
Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure other things, but
Didn't we watch another movie recently where they did the same thing, where like one of the cops, like who used to work with the main character and was kind of cool with them and cut him some leeway, while the other one was like a hard ass, and then it was the nice one that was the double crosser.
That's a lot of movies that we watch.
I feel like there's one really recently though.
We'll have to narrow that one down.
It's a little bit of a trope, Brain, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
As far as narrowing it down for Brain here,
yeah,
I recognized him from two films. One I know you've definitely seen. The other you may have seen, but he was in Marked for Death.
Yes.
And he was the detective that was friends with Ice Cube in Barbershop.
Okay. He was also in Men of War with Dolph Lundgren.
Yes.
And,
yes, he was.
Yeah. What else do I see him here in?
Oh, when he was younger, he was in a movie that has the number 2 in it that we talked about last year. He was in Exterminator 2.
Yeah.
With Captain Charisma, Robert Ginty.
And Toyman may remember him from his 37 episodes of Search for Tomorrow.
There you go. I didn't recognize anything I was looking on his IMDb on.
Yeah, he worked for the Yankees on Seinfeld. He was George Costanza's co-worker.
Yep. Was it Morgan?
Yeah. And he missed out on signing the card for Mr. Steinbrenner. Mm-hmm. But he's dirty, and he takes Denise, and we get a bit of a car chase scene, which is always nice. And Logan, he's a bit delayed because he does have some goons to take out real quick. But Riley gets Denise to the Diablos, and then Riley, he gets taken out by Logan, and he's pretty much, we don't have any more dealings with Riley. But now Colonel Walsh has Denise, and then when Logan and Munch come in, he wants the freaking one of his guys to shoot the dog.
Ooh.
But fortunately for us, Munch
about a way to get some heat, Brain.
Oh yeah, Munch gets away though, fortunately. And then Angel's getting in Logan's face to talk shit. And next thing you know, we've got the classic Logan and Denise tied up back to back. They're not about to be the Nazis aren't about to declare war on them, and they're not going to burn the room down, but they're tied up back to back. And we get another Walsh speech. We kind of get into his head, and he's bitter about Vietnam, and there's no more wars. There's nothing to fight for.
Definitely starts dropping some like we said, Napoleon and some Alexander the Great quotes. So he's got some he's got some heroes, Brain. He's got some heroes.
Military was his life, and he's looking for fight.
Yeah, he's lost his identity.
Yep. And Logan's like, hey, why don't you just let Denise go? Me and you, we can go at it mano a mano. Angel's talking more shit, and it's like, hey, this is our big night. We got to go. And then, of course, you want to talk about tropes, Ryan Campbell. They leave one guard to watch Logan and Denise.
Idiotic.
Yeah, that's not going to work. The big mafia meeting. Yeah, the big mafia meeting is taking place at Don Mario's Casket Factory.
Trademark? Is there a TM at the end of that? Don Mario's Casket Factory?
Or is it Don Mario's original Casket Factory? I don't know.
At Don Mario's original Casket Factory. I'm just imagining like the jingle that would play on local station affiliates for the commercial.
Yeah. WOR would air it all the time in New York. Of course, the guard watching Logan and Denise fucks up. So we get Blade and Munch back in action. And we remember the Trojan horse gimmick. Remember it.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
Well, it happens right here because the guys are in the caskets. And this gives Don Mario the chance.
Sure, I saw that on an episode of Saturday Night's Main Event once.
Oh. How many caskets were there? Anyway,
Just one at ringside when the Ultimate Warrior fought Sergeant Slaughter.
that's right. That's right. Well, anyway, it gives Don Mario the chance to say "fucking crazy bastard." So very nice. That's 2 bastards for this movie. But Walsh at this point has declared victory, and he wants to make sure they don't kill Logan because they're teasing Ryan Campbell. They're teasing.
Yeah,
Big one-on-one fight.
I just wish we got a little bit more explanation as to why Walsh wants to keep Logan alive.
He wants to fight. He wants to be the one, and I think he also wants. And
I think he just yells. I think he says something in passing, like "I want him to see" or something. But like, why? Why do you?
Yeah. And I think he says it in a little bit here that he wishes that he and Logan could be together. Like he respects him as a warrior, not an ultimate warrior.
So then give him the warrior's death, and I don't know. It seems a little like for the plot's sake.
And mind you, through all of this, we know that Walsh is crazy, like he's obviously unhinged, but Steve James is playing Logan Blade is so unflappable. Like he caught the dirty cop, his girlfriend's been kidnapped, and like through it all, he keeps his cool. And that's great for the heroics of it all, but it doesn't do much to build up Walsh as anything more than a crazy military guy. You don't feel like he's actually kind of rising above James in the intimidation level.
Right, that is true. Yeah, Steve James you never worry about.
He never
Steve
wavers.
James. You don't like. There's never that moment like, uh-oh, he's in some trouble. Like, if they would have just kept Denise and he wasn't also like, they would have at least had that. Like, that could have been his Achilles heel, but even that doesn't really play out very long. But yeah, the sirens approach, so that means that the Walsh and the Diablos return to their abandoned church hideout. And when we get there,
a lot of abandoned property in this film.
Yes. Yeah. It's a sad state of affairs, but you're right.
We already skipped the zipper scene, right? Did we get to that? Did we do that part yet?
I don't remember. I don't. What? Tell us about it, Ryan Campbell.
Well, they before they get loose, they tease a kind of a sexual assault on Denise.
Right. Yes.
And we cut back to Munch, wherever Munch is at. And then we get like a really close up of the guy like starting to unzip his pants.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Denise does a kick, the gun goes to Logan. That's how they get out.
Right.
I thought it would have been awesome if Munch, at the sound of Denise's cries and the zip sound, got loose and ran in and saved the day. I thought that's what they were telegraphing there. That would have been
Munch's moment.
Yeah. Because they zoom in. That's like the tightest zipper shot I've ever seen. And if all of a sudden it would have been like that little sound, and then the dog's ears perk up and he like gets free of wherever he's at and comes running in and bites the guy's dick off or something, that'd have been cool.
Oh, that may have worked better. Like if Munch was her dog.
Yeah, she actually kind of hates Munch, so maybe.
Yeah,
but then she likes Munch afterwards. Now she's on.
She does.
Yeah,
kind of like how we knew that the cop that hated Logan Blade actually really respected him deep down.
Then at the end, we get a scene with like Logan walking in and like Munch is on the couch with like head in Denise's lap, and she's just petting him, and he's like, "Oh, that dog."
You know what? You know what munching that Denise likes the most?
Oh, whoa!
Do you know?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. It's
Funyuns?
Logan Blade. It's when Logan Blade munches on hers.
Okay, I thought that's
just in case you didn't.
Unless there's any doubt to where you're going.
I just want to let everybody know. Yeah, when he goes downtown, that building ain't abandoned for very long. I got news for you.
That's why she wants him out of that van.
Yeah. Because okay. Well, there you go, folks. Oh yeah, we still have a little bit more movie to talk about.
No hair dryer needed.
Yeah, no electronic. The good old diddlator.
What God gave you
is his tongue in this situation. That's the diddlator 2000. It's the natural kind. So yeah, they get to the abandoned church, and Munch does go after Angel, which frees up Logan to deal with Walsh. And Walsh is like, "Choose your weapon," and he's like, "Bicycles." No, that's a different movie. He he's like, "Let's just go hand to hand, baby," much like the blind beggar bar fight, Toy Man. When the big man drops his table leg and they just go hand to hand.
And it's not a very dynamic fight. I mean, Steve James was great as like the big brawler, like the big badass, but he wasn't very dynamic. He was more of like just like a punch kick type of guy.
Yeah.
And this is not what you normally see from Reb. We normally see him in these military situations where he's got the firepower. He's not really a hand-to-hand combat guy. Even when we saw him doing stuff in Cage, it was almost like played for laughs in a couple of scenes. So this was a very interesting choice, and kudos to Steve James for trying to utilize Red Brown in a different manner. But I don't think this final battle hit the way that it was intended to. It goes back to what we said earlier about the characterization of Walsh a little bit. But then
Mm-hmm.
as far as like having him be the big bad, I think you needed something more for this final fight to really feel like a climactic battle.
Yeah.
I would agree. I would agree. It felt a little anticlimactic. I remember thinking that towards the end, and then the movie just kind of ends.
Yeah. I mean, Logan ends up outsmarting the brilliant strategist that is Walsh, and he just basically falls into a trap, and that's the end of Walsh. It's kind of a And then
it felt like a episode of TV for like the week kind of ending,
Right, so they give Walsh an out that he might be able to return for the season finale.
Yeah, and he like closes the doors in the van, smiles, credits pop up, freeze frame. That's the end of this week's episode.
But Logan then gets up to Angel, who's still on the run from Munch. Logan busts his nose, takes him in again, and we're basically right back to where we started. I did like the quote, "The more people I meet, the more I like my dog."
That hits home for you, doesn't it, Brain?
It does. That could be like my mom.
And there are days that he don't like his dog, so that's
not so. Early on, yeah. Puppy Remo was he would get on your nerves. He would destroy. Now more mature Remo. Yeah, we're the best of friends over here. And definitely a great quote and very true.
If you could just get him to stop climbing the Statue of Liberty, you'd be in a better spot.
Yeah, it's dangerous, and it's too high for me to go up and get him. So there's that. All right, so we get the end credits. Final thoughts, Ryan Campbell. We'll start with you.
A collective for me, Brain. It had some good aspects to it. I really like Steve James, and I thought John Leguizamo were like the two highlights. I feel like John Leguizamo's character gets kind of sidelined when they start to transition to Colonel Walsh kind of being the bad guy. I think it's just John Leguizamo. Maybe it's just this is young. Earlier in his career, he wasn't quite where he is now. But those first scenes, he's really good as like this, maybe overachieving, wants to make a name for himself. He's almost like he almost hesitates to kill the guy in the beginning because you're thinking, is he really up to this? And then he pulls the trigger and blood splatters over his face, and you're like, oh shit, he is. And then he kind of gets sidelined for the rest of it as they push Walsh to kind of being the bad guy. So I could have maybe a little bit more focus on him as the big bad. I thought I would like more. And I think I mentioned this when I was texting you. The middle of the movie kind of slogs a little bit. It's a lot of like back and forth between a scene where people talk, and then he goes back to talk to the cops, and then he goes talks to another person. So it kind of drug a little bit in the middle for me. Mm-hmm. But it definitely had some highlights. Again, Steve James was not the problem here. I thought Red Brown was good in it, but I think I would have liked to have had John Leguizamo as maybe more of like a psychological foil, to Steve James, and done a little bit more with that. But again, I liked some really great character names, some good performances. Just kind of drug a little bit in the middle, and like we said, the ending kind of doesn't quite punch hard enough. So it's kind of an
Toy Man.
This is one that doesn't, well, that didn't really stick as firmly in the memory bank as a lot of the films that we talk about. Steve James, not only was he the star, but he also wrote it. So you could look at it as a bit of a vanity project for him, and maybe that's why Logan Blade was,
Vanity would have been good in it.
cool as a cucumber. What was that?
Vanity would have been good in it.
She would have. I would have. I would have enjoyed her singing better as well.
Yeah, that would have been perfect. I love Steve James, have a lot of love for him, especially from growing up on the American Ninja movies and Avenging Force. Those are some of my all-time favorites. John Leguizamo was good. Frank Vincent, his role was very minor. It was cool seeing Reb Brown as something different. I didn't realize until years later, when Reb kind of became a meme because of all the Mystery Science Theater stuff with Space Mutiny and everything, that he was in a lot of these movies. And it's like, oh, you kind of pick up on his normal character traits, like the goofy screams and stuff like that. So it was cool to see him subdued and in a rare villain role. Like that was very cool and very different. But I just feel that the movie spent so much time building up Logan Blade that seeing the characters of like the Diablos and Colonel Walsh and Angel and stuff like that, they were kind of like, it was almost like you were watching two different movies. It's like, here's this, super cool former cop, vigilante, bounty hunter guy. Like nothing can break him. Like not even having his lady kidnapped. Like, they're having goofy arguments while she's kidnapped instead of him feeling like she's actually in imminent danger, even when all these guys are being really lecherous to her. And, to Ryan's point, like we could have even had a chance for Munch the dog to shine, and we kind of left it all in Logan Blade's hands. So, I mean, it's a passable movie. This is one of those like rainy day Saturday afternoon type of rentals. It's in the collection, but it's not one that I've gone back to over and over. I kind of forget about it. Like when you mentioned that we were going to talk about it, it's like I probably hadn't watched it in literal years. So this is the most I've talked about it in a while. But it's not a movie that I hate. It's certainly not as bad as some other things that I've seen. But as far as being up there with Steve James' best work, this was just kind of like a curiosity watch for some of the roles that other people play here.
Yeah, this was only the second time I've ever seen it. It was one of those where when the site, we started doing the site, and I started looking like, and because I thought, I'm like, man, Steve James is so good in the American Ninja movies, but then I was like, honestly, I don't remember ever seeing him in anything else. So of course that's where you go into the IMDb and you find out about things like Riverbend and then this one, and I'm like, wow, he was the freaking like star of the movie.
Yep.
I want to see this, but it was like nowhere to be found. I eventually broke down and just bought a digital copy on Prime. And of course now it's on,
because it's not on an official DVD. It's still only officially on VHS.
Right. So I'm like, and I think that was
on YouTube. If you're listening and want to check it out for yourself, there's a couple of copies on YouTube.
Yeah, it is now on YouTube. But at that point, it was like VHS, probably out of print VHS for a ridiculous amount of money. I'm like, no, I'll just pay the $5 to own the digital copy of it. Hopefully it doesn't go away. But if it does, it's like it was $5, not $55 for a VHS. So it's interesting because again, it is one of the rare where Steve James is the main guy. But I think if he would have not passed away at a young age, this would be even more of a forgotten movie, because I think he would he would have done better things, and this would have been like, what? Yeah, I forgot he did that. But again, John Leguizamo, I had forgotten he was in the movie. Very good. Frank Vincent, again, always good. And
Vincent Pastore is one of the goons at the casket factory.
And again, for me, it really was a memorable role for Reb Brown, even though they did not build him up enough as the ultimate heel. In that final fight, it just left a lot to be desired. And part of it, you wonder, like, how much of a budget did this movie have?
It almost feels, I mean, the violence is not overtly graphic. There are a couple of like headshot scenes and stuff where there's a little bit of extra blood spatter and stuff. But to Ryan's point about how it slows down a little bit, it almost feels like a TV movie, like a pilot for a series.
Yep. And maybe it was. Maybe that's what he was hoping for. Who knows? But this one, I'm glad we watched it and talked about it because again, there's not many opportunities to do so with Steve James, unfortunately. But yeah, and again, I like it for Reb as far as his performance, but he doesn't get the big bad moment. He doesn't get that big final fight where you're like, yes, you have vanquished this best. I think they needed him to do more bad things throughout the movie. Like I didn't want him to have the dog killed, but he should have been doing something.
Because he was really just killing other gang members. Like,
right.
He wasn't really killing sympathetic characters.
Right. It was almost like they were like almost Yojimboing it up. Like they could have done that where Steve James was playing them up against each other, like kind of like Paul Kersey did in a DW4. And again, the many Yojimbo inspired movies have done such a thing. So I don't know. It would probably be many, many years before I watch this one again, if I even watch it again, because there's so much out there, as we know.
There is
so much out there to watch,
and more every day, Brain.
That's right, more every single day. So there it is, folks. It is our talk on Street Hunter. Again, if you've never seen it, if it's because again, it is pretty obscure. There are some kind souls who have put it on the YouTube, so you can watch it for free, and that's a good price. Would you not say?
I would say that. There's a few different versions up. There's like 4 that came up when I searched it.
Correct. So there you go. You won't have to spend the $5 or what. I think it was like $2.99 to rent, $4.99 to own, and I'm like, well. I think I'll splurge on the $4.99 because what if this is the most awesome movie ever? And again, until we just had to watch it for this show, I hadn't watched it. So,
and if you look at that, VHS cover art too, it actually makes Reb look more intimidating than he does in the movie.
And it makes Reb seem like
Steve James all cool there. With the dog.
He's kind of centered right there in the middle of the frame, like he's the star of the movie.
And that, like the Reb Brown on the cover, is not the Reb Brown in the movie.
No, it's almost like when you find those DVD compilation sets where they've got Dolph Lundgren or Chuck Norris kind of like photoshopped into a scene or something.
Yeah. But yeah, I think maybe that even if that's what I'm like, well, maybe that's why I don't know this movie existed because. I mean, Steve James is just little, and he's like, he looks like a cowboy. So I'm like, that's not how I would have envisioned Steve James. So even if somehow maybe that was at my local Blockbuster, would I have just been like, no, skip? Like what is this? I don't know. But again, if you haven't seen it, if it's been a long time since you've seen it, you want to revisit, it is on YouTube. Check it out over there, folks. All right. Unfortunately, we have to end this program with some sad news, some sad and really shocking news that came my way last week. Found out that longtime listener of this podcast definitely supported us, contributed over on bulletproofaction.com, and really was just somebody was always interacting with all of us, really. Sean Cavender found out that he passed away. Obviously, not the news you ever want to hear, but he was definitely one of our most loyal fans, Toy Man.
Absolutely. Sean was always good for a retweet or a comment. I know that he has personally contributed to your collection. I know he's found many films that you've got, but yeah, just a really nice guy. Like, he seemed to know a little bit about everything. So no matter what I was reviewing or what we were doing on the podcast, he always had a comment, always had a reference about an actor or an actress in it. Just very knowledgeable about the action scene and the video store era. Just a really nice guy from my interactions with him. And I know that when you found out, you let me know. And it kind of, caught me off guard. I wasn't even at home. I was in an event and I was like, wait, what? And it, kind of took me a couple minutes to kind of regain my composure because it was just days earlier. He was out retweeting our stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I just, I think the day before he sent me like, I'm watching this. I don't remember the movie. It only had 9 bastards in it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's always a heartbreaker when you think you're almost there and you only get to 9. But yeah, he just wasn't too long ago. He was raving about our Super Fights episode, and particularly the discussion about Angel. Was her name Angel in that? Was that another Angel?
Yes. Yeah. Kelly Gallant's character was Angel. Yep.
Angel. Yeah. Not to be confused with our Angel today, but yeah. So, yeah, I would always get good feedback from Sean. I'd always enjoyed having conversations about a variety of things, as you said, Toy Man. He had knowledge about a little bit of everything. Very, very knowledgeable about some of the films that were made in his native North Carolina, like Cyborg and The Crow and Ninja Turtles. So yeah, definitely a huge loss. And because he was such a supporter, I think next week we should do something. We should do an episode in his memory, in his honor. And he was a big Bruceploitation fan, and that's you mentioned it, Toy Man. He would go to these flea markets and these thrift stores and be on eBay, and he'd be getting lots and lots of these VHS DVDs. So when he would get duplicates, he would always so generously, he's like, "Hey, do you want these?" Absolutely. In fact, he just sent me a care package last Thursday, and I got it the day after I got the news, and I got some more VHS classics for my collection, including one, Ryan Campbell, you'd like it. It's Chuck Norris, Hero and the Terror.
Hey, yeah, Sean wanted me to watch it. I'd watch it.
Okay, we might have to. But yeah, I think being that he was such a Bruceploitation fan, we should watch his absolute favorite Bruceploitation movie on our show next week. Challenge of the Tiger, starring Bruce Lee. It's one of the more wild ones, Toy Man. I'm sure you've seen it before.
Oh yes. This is going to be great to get Ryan Campbell thrust into the world of Bruceploitation next week.
This will be our first time we've ever done a Bruceploitation film here on the show. So we're going to do that for Sean, and I wish there's more we could do, but certainly, if anyone deserves that honor, it's Sean, because he was, again, one of our most loyal listeners, a great friend to the site. Personally, again, I enjoyed every conversation I had with the man, and I'm looking forward to being able to kind of do that tribute to him, Ryan Campbell.
Absolutely, yeah. Sean definitely was one of the more always posting stuff on our YouTube and trying to get conversations going and engage conversation. Just personally on even like things like on my Twitter feed, where I tend to post maybe some spicier, more like political takes. He would often, give me a reply or a like or support me on that kind of stuff. So even outside of the action movie world. So, yep, I'm all for doing that for him. And I'll check and see. I don't know if there's any like causes or anything like that he, I'll do some research and see if something like that. Maybe we'll put like a link in the description for next week if you feel led to donate to any of the causes that Sean championed, or if there's any kind of GoFundMe for the family or something like that.
Yeah, hope we might have more details at that point.
We'll do some research, but we'll be ready for next week. So come check it out.
Yeah, if we do, we will certainly pass that along. So you too could pay tribute to Sean. All right, folks. Thank you, gentlemen, first and foremost, for joining me. And thank you, everyone, for listening. And as always, stay tuned for more of the Bulletproof Podcast.